Gamers, what's good? It's time to start to get excited, okay? As you guys may already know, we have some educated guesses that the next box is going to have Fire Kings in it. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if by the time this video drops, it's already been confirmed in the game. So I really wanted to learn this stuff, so I spent a couple of streams learning it. Last time it went pretty poorly because this engine is actually pretty hard to learn, and today it went really well, and now I have a much better understanding, I would say, of how Fire King makes Snake Eyes way better. Even with just one Snake Eye Ash, I think this deck is absolutely still going to be the best deck in the game. The Fire King engine is really something to behold. It adds a ton of gas on top of extra interruption, on top of extra pressure in the graveyard. But I'm sure, just like myself, a lot of you guys are probably not super familiar with these cards. So before they even come out in Master Duel, I figured I'd give you like a quick introduction. Now, this is not going to be a super in-depth overview of how these cards work and everything. I'm still going to make a deck profile for them once they drop in Master Duel. But I did feel like I should bring you up to speed here in Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega, just to, like, you know, just let you know what to expect with these cards, or what to look out for, or what to craft, right? For the package itself, you know, you're looking at a Fire King Garunix, 3 copies of the Fire King High Avatar Kirin, 1 copy of the Arvada, and 1 copy of the legendary Fire King Pydtosofz, as well as your Fire King Sanctuary and the Fire King Field Spell. That's basically the whole Fire King package. As you can see here, the extra deck looks very similar, except for one very important card, Duel Little Chimera. This card might seem kind of bad, but its effect of, if it's destroyed, you can target a fire monster in your grave and add it to your hand, enables a really degenerate combo in this deck with the Fire King engine. You absolutely have to run this. Like, I think it is so damn good. So if you want me to talk about the engine super quickly, just give you a basic overview of what the cards do. Pydtosofz is your level 1 fire monster, right? So it's the one that you're going to summon off of original if you have access to both engines. At which point, Fire King Pydtosofz will search your Sanctuary, and Sanctuary will set up your Field Spell. Your Field Spell is a searcher, so you can use your Field Spell to pop a monster and add a Fire King monster to your hand. The whole crazy thing about this is Fire King Garunix special summons itself from hand if a fire monster is destroyed, and it actually works even if you destroy a fire monster to search it with your Field Spell. So what you're usually going to be doing is you're going to be going like Fire King Island, pop Duel Little Chimera to search the Fire King Garunix, at which point you can go like Garunix effect, since a fire monster was destroyed, special summon it. You can go Duel Little Chimera effect, add a fire from grave to hand. You'll add the Pydtosofz, and so Pydtosofz will get added to hand. Then you'll get your Fire King Garunix effect on summon to destroy a fire monster from the deck. You can destroy Arvada. Arvada will then special summon from your grave the Duel Little Chimera, and because a monster was destroyed, you'll get the special Pydtosofz from your hand. So you're getting an insane amount of advantage from this engine. Then you have the Kirin, which is an extender because it can destroy a fire monster on field or hand to special summon itself, and it's also a reborn. So what you're going to be doing is on opponent's turn, if you get to summon Garunix, because this card can special summon itself from hand or grave when a fire monster is destroyed, you'll get to use his effect, destroy a Kirin from your deck, and you'll get to bring back Arvada to get a monster negate. So I'm sure just spewing a bunch of words about these cards is kind of making it even more confusing. And trust me, when I started playing with these cards, I was a little bit confused too. That's the whole point of this video. I'm going to be showing you just the highest ceiling full combo for this deck, just to really give you an idea of how it works. I gotta give a huge shout out to Pydtosofz. He helped me build the deck, and he helped me a lot with learning the combo, so I really appreciate him for that. He's always helping me out with these like new meta decks and stuff, so I can't thank him enough for that. But yeah, now I have a pretty solid understanding of it, and I think I have a good enough understanding to explain to you the main line, and that's going to teach you a lot about the cards, after which you'll be able to freestyle a little bit more when you have weird hands. Now, before we get into that whole crazy combo showcase, I do want to address the tournament that got postponed. Some people might have missed the community post, so I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on video. On the day this video is releasing, there would have been my first Master Duel Central Cup, but a few days ago, I got really sick, and I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't get better by the time that tournament rolls around, and then I would have to cancel last minute. So I decided, instead of doing that, I'll just cancel it in advance and push it back a week. So now the tournament is going to be happening on Sunday, June 9th. And low-key, this might be a good thing because we'll have all these new cards that we can play with, such as Fire Kings, which I'm sure a lot of people are really excited to try out. We're also going to have the new ban list in effect, right, with Snake Eye Ash now at 1 and the Wanted also going to 1. So I think it's going to make for a pretty fresh format, maybe for a more exciting tournament all in all. Other than that, none of the rules changed. The tournament is still free to enter. You know, $100 gift card pricing for first place, $50 pricing for second, $25 pricing for third place. It's still going to be Swiss rounds, best of one. All of that is still the same. And if you want to register for the new date on the tournament, just wait a little bit. We're basically going to put up registrations as soon as the new cards come out in Master Duel, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to build their decks with the new cards, right? So that's why I figured we'll just wait until the new cards are out. So you'll have about 2 days to register. So pretty small time window to sign up. That's why I'm letting you know in advance to prepare, maybe practice these decks in advance a little bit, stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really great time. I'm really excited to do my first official tournament. And again, massive shout out to Pydtosofz because he's helping me put the whole thing together. And I really could not have done it without him because I don't have a lot of experience with TO. So he's been a huge help. I'll put his channel in the description. So if you guys want to show him some love, I would really appreciate it. I think he's a really, really cool guy. But either way, that's enough yapping. Let's go see it in action. All right, so here I want to show you basically your high ceiling combo, you know, your crazy combo with these two engines together. And the best way to do that is to do the combo with Bonfire and Diabell Star, the Black Witch. So we start off with our Bonfire and we can grab ourselves a Snake Eye Ash. So yeah, you actually want to start with normal summoning the Snake Eye Ash, just because if they negate the Snake Eye Ash on the field, it's not as big of a deal as if they negate the Diabell Star, because Diabell Star will get you into original. We're going to get ourselves our Snake Eye Ash effect to grab a Poplar. And we can go for Poplar effect in the hand. And actually with Poplar, you're going to want to go search your field spell. So we summon the Poplar out. Very good. Poplar effect. We're going to go grab the Divine Temple of the Snake Eye. And we can go ahead and activate it. We're going to put Flamberge in the back row, or Flamberge, as other people like to call it. So put the Flambe right over here. And at this point, you actually want to go and send the Divine Temple of the Snake Eyes to the grave with your Snake Ash. So I'm just going to explain that really quick. The Fire King field spell will pop all your monsters if it leaves the field. So you're pretty much always going to be ending your combo with that card face up on the field. So it doesn't really matter if you leave this on the field. It doesn't really serve any purpose because you're going to get rid of it later anyway for the Fire King Island. Might as well use it as a resource and send it to the graveyard with your Snake Eye Ash. So we're going to do just that. Summon out the Oak. And at this point, we get 3 bodies on the field, right? So Oak effect, bring out the Snake Eye Ash. So special summon it. Very good. At this point, it might not look like it, but we're kind of safe from Nibiru, right? Because if they decided to go for Nibiru while we have, you know, Diabell in hand, absolute worst case scenario, we could just send the Flamberge to the grave, summon out the Diabell Star, get the 2 summons from the grave after, and all that stuff, right? So it might seem like I'm not playing like around Nibiru because I got rid of my field spell, but in reality, we are currently playing around Nibiru. So the next play here would be to go Sunlight Wolf, and what we're going to do is just grab ourselves some follow-up for turn 3. So we're going to use our Poplar as well as our Snake Eye Ash to put Sunlight Wolf right over here. We can trigger the Poplar and put the Poplar right in the back row. So we're targeting the Poplar here. Put that dude in the back row. And then we can make ourselves a Linkaribo right under the Sunlight Wolf and activate Sunlight Wolf effect. Add back to our hand the Oak, which is, again, just really, really good follow-up on turn 3. Oak is insane follow-up. And again, here, it seems like I'm not playing around Nibiru, but at any given moment, I could just send my Flamberge to the grave and keep my combo going if I got Nibiru, right? So we're going to go for Diabell Star, send the Poplar to the grave, and summon out the Diabell, at which point Diabell will search us the original Sinful Spoils and set it on the field. Again, at this point, if they went Nibiru, we would have the original and the Flamberge here, which even if they had Ash for the original, we could still send Flamberge for cost to get 3 bodies and at very, very least get a, you know, an Amblo pass. So really not the end of the world. Our next play here will be to go into Selene using our Sunlight Wolf and our Diabell Star. So we'll make a Selene. And because we have a continuous spell here, as well as our Bonfire in the Grave and our Divine Temple of the Snake Eye, that adds up to 3. Yes, because this card is treated as a continuous spell, we get to remove 3 counters from it and summon out the Diabell Star right back from the graveyard. At which point you want to go for an Appaloosa using the Linkaribo because you want to leave the Diabell Star on the field as material for IP later. So here we're definitely just going to go ahead and make ourselves an Appaloosa. That way we really don't have to worry about Nibiru anymore, which is really, really nice, as we do really, we want to eventually actually use our Flamberge effect, you know? So here we go. We're going to activate our original Sinful Spoils, send the Flamberge to the grave, special out the Fire King Ponyx, and this is when we're going to start getting into our Fire King engine. So we can activate the Fire King Ponyx effect to search a spell, and we can chain block it with the graveyard effect of Flamberge. And that way they can't Ash the Ponyx. If they decide to Imperm or Veiler the Ponyx, keep in mind, in response to Valor or Imperm, we could literally just link Karibo. So that's a really, really good way to protect your Ponyx effect, which just ensures that you're going to get into your Fire King engine. So either way, we don't need to do this, so we're not going to do it. But we will special summon these two back from the grave here. So we're going to do just that. Here we go. 1 and 2. Very good. And now you want to don't grab the field spell, grab the Sanctuary, because your continuous spell will set up your field spell. And it will also, I think, allow you to protect yourself from destroying all your own monsters if they somehow remove your field spell from the field. Let me just make sure that that's the case here. Once per turn, if a card in your field zone would be destroyed by card effect, you can destroy one fire monster in your hand or face of field instead. Okay, so it only protects from destruction, so they can still remove it by banishing or something like that, at which point Fire King Island would trigger to wipe your field. Don't worry, your deck can deal with a board wipe, absolutely. That's kind of like the reason that this engine is so crazy, so don't worry about that too much. But here we're going to go for the Fire King Sanctuary, and we're going to get to activate from our, place from our deck the Fire King Island. So we've got a lot of setup here. The next thing you could do is just make your IP, because you're going to want to make it at some point in your combo regardless. So, you know, we can use the Snake Ash as well as the Diabel. Just make IP. Just make sure IP is in the middle zone. You'll see why later. Basically, you want to make sure that you can use a zone under Appaloosa to make a Zealantis, and you'll see why. So we get our IP here, after which we can make ourselves a really crazy card in this deck that you probably haven't seen be good in ages, or ever even, but Duel Chimera. This card can add a fire monster from your grave to your hand if it's destroyed. So what you want to do, and the way that you're going to just get into your whole Fire King engine, is really with this card here. So we're going to use the Ponyx as well as the Poplar. Put that right under Appaloosa. It doesn't really matter because we're going to pop it anyway. And we're going to go for Fire King Island, pop the Duel Chimera, and we get to add to our hand the Sacred Fire King Garunix. And this is where the whole crazy chain is going to happen. So you add Garunix to your hand, and because your Garunix is added to your hand after you destroy something, you'll get to trigger his his destruction effect at the same time as the Chimera here. Well, not at the same time. Basically, you get Chimera as chain link 1. And then, you know, you target a card to add to your hand. You want to add the Ponyx back to your hand. And after this, within the same chain, you get to activate the Sacred Fire King Garunix since a fire monster was destroyed. I'm not 100% on how the timing for this stuff works, but basically, even though this card adds him to your hand from the deck, he doesn't need to be already in your hand when the monster is destroyed. So he does proc as if like that monster was destroyed, and you get to summon the Garunix here, which is really, really important. So we summon out the Garunix, and we get to add back the Ponyx to our hand. Now on summon, so on another chain, Garunix is going to trigger and gets to destroy a Fire King monster from your deck. So the card that you want to destroy here is Fire King Arvada. And when you destroy the Fire King Arvada from your deck, you're going to get to trigger the Arvada effect, which is going to allow you to special summon a Fire Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast from your grave. So you just grab back the Duel Chimera. And because the monster was destroyed, you get to also special summon the Fire King Ponyx from your hand. So we're going to special out the Ponyx, and we can special out the Duel Chimera. Like, you can see now that it's starting to get really crazy, right? Like, the amount of value you're getting from this Fire King engine, all this, you know, you guys saw, that was all off of basically one Ponyx. It's really ridiculous. So with the Duel Chimera and the Fire King Ponyx, we're going to go just straight into our Promethean Princess, of course. So let's just make that right now. You can put the Promethean Princess here. We're going to activate the Promethean Princess, bring back our Flamberge from the grave here. I probably should not put it in the Anima Zone, you know. Maybe it would have been better to put it here, but not the biggest deal in the world. And we're going to just go ahead and make ourselves a Amblo Whale using the Princess as well as the Garunix. Keep in mind, Garunix can also summon himself from the graveyard on opponent's turn, and that's a very important part of his effect. So we're going to use these two here, summon out the Amblo, and now, the crazy part, you make a Zealantis here, right under the Appaloosa. The reason for Zealantis here is basically because that means on opponent's turn, if they try to just normal summon and go to battle to beat over your Appaloosa, you can just go for the Zealantis battle effect. Since it's co-linked to the Appaloosa, you'll get to pop up to 2 cards, right? So on opponent's battle phase, you can just pop whatever monster they normal summon to beat over Appaloosa. They will have to contend with this Appaloosa, whether they like it or not. And then you also have access to the effect of Flamberge. This one is not that crazy important. You can just put the Diabell Star in the back row, or another thing you can do, if I didn't put him right here, is I could put the Sunlight Wolf in the back row, and then on opponent's turn, I could summon the Sunlight Wolf in front of my opponent's extra monster zone. My placement on Flamberge was pretty bad here. I should have put it all the way at the left here, so I would say that's kind of a misplay. But yeah, so I'm just going to set up, you know, the Diabell Star in the back row. That way I can get wanted maybe for turn 3 or something like that. So just put Diabell Star over here. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole combo. Maybe like we're just playing against the bots. I won't get to show you all the interaction, but there's a lot of crazy stuff that you can do. For example, if my opponent were to special summon something and I went Promethean Princess, well, because I popped a fire monster, that would proc the effect of Garunix, right? And then Garunix would special summon itself from the graveyard. On summon, Garunix could pop a Kirin from your deck, and Kirin would summon out the Arvada, which is a monster negate. So that basically means that with the Fire King engine, now when your Promethean Princess procs, that's a monster negate, which is absolutely insane. I don't think I really get to show it to you on turn 2, but I think we're going to go all the way to turn 3 just so I can force it, just to show you how crazy that interaction actually is. So here on turn 3, I'm just going to force the Garunix effect in Grave using my field spell just to show you like what you can do if a fire monster is destroyed in any way, shape, or form, including by your own Promethean Princess on opponent's turn. Yeah, we're just going to make some space on our board here. I'll just make... Honestly, it doesn't really matter what I make here. I'll just make some random links. We'll just use these two. As long as you have basically 3 spaces after a monster is destroyed, you should be good to do this. I think you'll actually only need 2. So here I'm just going to go Fire King Island to pop a fire card, a fire monster. So I'm just going to pop like Snake Eye Ash. Again, it doesn't really matter to add a Kirin to my hand, whatever. The Fire King Island here doesn't matter. I just want to show you what happens when a fire monster is destroyed on your field for any reason. You get to go King Garunix in the grave. Special summon the King Garunix. Then King Garunix from your deck on summon can pop a Kirin, and if Kirin is destroyed, Kirin gets to special summon a Fire King monster from your grave. So you get to special summon out the Arvada here and get yourself a monster negate on top of getting to destroy any card on the field. So I forgot to mention that actually. Promethean Princess is now not only 1 pop and a monster negate, it's 2 pops and a monster negate when you successfully resolve Promethean Princess, making it super high priority. But if they were to called by your Promethean Princess, well, that just means that if they destroy a fire monster in any other way, you're still going to get your Fire King Garunix to summon. So maybe they'll want to waste their called by on the Garunix, at which point, well, there you go. So you still at least get the pop off of Promethean Princess. So definitely the amount of graveyard pressure that you have with this engine is really something to behold, and it's really, really crazy. Now, obviously, we have way more than enough damage to just go for game, but this bot is playing Kozaki, so I'm just going to scoop it up, honestly. I don't know if I can really deal with that. So yeah, that's the video. Hopefully it was useful for you. If it wasn't, make sure to let me know in the comments that this video was not helpful. If it was helpful, make sure to hit that like button, and yeah.